Employees who trust their leaders are 2.5 times more engaged at work than those who don't. And in a world where our healthy skepticism of those in leadership has gone way beyond that, without trust, even the best plans fall apart. Your team might follow instructions, but they'll never go the extra mile. They will never speak up, and they certainly won't tell you when something's going wrong. Hi, I'm Kathy Doherty, the People Navigator, and if you're a small business owner or lead a team of people and you want honest, human-based advice on how to lead them well, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll share 5 practical ways to build trust with your team, starting today. Be a person of your word. We know trust begins with reliability. You ask it of your people. You need reliable team members, and they need reliable leaders. If you say you'll follow up, then do it. If you set a deadline, stick to it unless something horrendous has happened, or explain if something has changed and the deadline needs to change. Your own consistency will show your team it's a live demonstration of whether they can count on you. What do you think of those people who overpromise and underdeliver? Are they the ones that you go to when you need some assistance? Are they the ones that you rely on? Would you put your trust and faith in them? Have a think about the type of people that you trust, the type of people whose opinions you value. What is it about those individuals that generates that trust and faith that you have in them? What is it about them? What do they do that makes you want to go to them, to seek them out? Be open, but careful not to overshare. You don't need to share everything. And certainly there will be circumstances it's maybe not appropriate for you to share everything, but that doesn't mean you have to be dishonest. And it also doesn't mean that you have to come across that you're hiding things. You can be open and honest about the challenges that you're facing. As a leader, you are spinning so many plates. You're having to balance and juggle so many responsibilities. This comes with leadership, but the communication side is key. And where things don't go well or there's some issue, then own them. And I'll cover that a wee bit later on. You're wanting to signal that you are all part of the same team. You're sharing the challenges together, but be careful that you don't give the same signal that politicians can give out when they're trying to attract a vote. This is why being a person of your word really matters. In one of my very early roles, when I eventually went into the HR people culture space, it was my first time dealing with unions, lots of trade unions. I had never encountered it before. However, I got a good reputation as being firm but fair. I would let them know if there were things I couldn't share with them. And over time, they learned to trust that what I could share, I would share. There were certain things that I wasn't allowed to share, certain things it wasn't appropriate for me to share. But I always kept the line, if I can share it with you, if I can tell you, I will. I'm not going to play political games. I'm not playing mind games, because that's not how I operate. And they appreciated that. It's the same with you and your people. Being careful to not come across as being political, being strategic in how you speak with them, how you deal with them. And it is a minefield. People are quick to distrust. It doesn't take much. Respect their time and effort. Trust grows when people feel that they are seen, that they are heard, and they are understood. When you schedule a meeting, start it on time. And anybody who knows me knows it's a bugbear of mine. Start the meetings on time. It's that old adage, if you're early, it's a waste of your time. If you're late, it's a waste of their time. And we usually have too many meetings in our schedules. The more effective and efficient you can be in those meetings, which begins with starting on time. Things happen, but that should be the exception where there's a late start rather than the rule, especially when you have other people relying on you to be in that meeting. If a meeting can begin without you being there, well then it's a courtesy, but if you are needed to start the meeting, be there on time. In fact, be a bit early to make sure everything is set up and you can start on time. Over the years, I have played around with anybody who arrives late to a meeting, they have to put money in the tin and that then goes to charity. And I have threatened that it gets to £10, depending on if there are some people who are more likely to be late than others. But those who are more likely to be late, I always would make sure that the meeting isn't reliant on them being there to start. And the meeting begins on time, whether they're there or not. If they miss on something, then that's life, because there's other people's schedules relying on that meeting finishing on time. They have other commitments. And we usually have too many meetings. Enough about meetings. Enough about that. Acknowledge a job well done. But also check before you assign any more work. That ongoing conversation. Check in how people are getting on with the work that they've got. Don't assume that people have capacity. But also if you have options in terms of the kind of work that is available, have a conversation with who might want to pick up that piece of work, if that's the nature of your team, if you have that flexibility. But don't make assumptions. What you do and what you say is all about relaying to that other individual that their time and energy matter to you, because you would want yours to matter to them. There's nothing more frustrating than the time wasters. You don't want to be the time waster. That when you schedule a meeting, people go, oh, here we go. It'll not start on time, and as a result, it'll probably run late. And I'm not really sure the purpose of the meeting. Make sure you need to have a meeting and be super tight with your timing. When somebody gives feedback or brings up an issue, how you respond teaches them whether it's safe to be honest. And I talked about that in this video here. If you want to find out more, check it out. It's easier said than done. And on the days when maybe you're feeling a bit more sensitive, you're maybe not in the best of form, you may need to put a bit of a game face on. This is when you step up from being just completely yourself to being a leader, to showing that professionalism, that you can take it, you can listen to it, but you're then also giving the signal as to how another individual, either that particular individual or those in the vicinity who are observing it, this is how we behave when we receive feedback that maybe isn't completely positive and may feel like a challenge. This is why you then build boundaries to understand that it's not personal against you. It's not a personal attack. It's not an attack on your character, which is why how feedback is given, you will lead by example. And you don't have to agree, but you do need to remain curious and remain respectful, especially when potentially the person giving the feedback maybe isn't as adept at giving that type of feedback as you would like to be, or as you have proven that you are. And that again provides an opportunity that you can feed into their development in terms of how to give constructive feedback that doesn't feel like a personal attack. It's keeping in mind that with feedback, the focus is always on improvement. How can we do better? And avoid management speak. Speak like a human being, because nobody likes management speak. Own your own mistakes. We're all human, we're all messy, we have good days, we have bad days. How you handle things when you're the one who messed up, again, will signal to those around you, this is what happens. Your honesty can be a massive indicator that it's okay to make mistakes. Just don't repeat them, learn from them, but take responsibility. And there's nothing to be feared by taking responsibility. We've all seen and probably experienced those environments where nobody will make a decision because they don't want to get the blame if things don't turn out right. And as a result, everything stalls. No progress is made. People get frustrated. I've certainly left workplaces because of that, where they pretty much refuse to make a decision because they don't want to face the consequences of any decision, and they only make the easy decisions, which doesn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things. It's those more challenging, the more difficult, the more complex decisions that really can help make a massive difference. And if it's your business, there are probably decisions that you find quite easy to make. What is it about those decisions that are easy? Why is it easier for you to make those more than others? Trust doesn't come from the big gestures, the big speeches, the clever speeches. It comes from your day-to-day actions. your day-to-day interactions with your people. Lead by example. What are the behaviours you want to see in your people? And you model those behaviours. You show them how it's done. Because remember, everybody brings their baggage. Depending on where they have been before, they're more than likely to have seen leaders who take the approach, do as I say, not as I do. You don't want to be that leader. You want to be the one that when people reflect on who they admire as a leader, they think of you. Who do you admire as a leader and why? And which one of these habits do you want to start or restart this week? Share it in the comments below. And I'd really appreciate your support to grow this channel and to increase my reach. So if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe and share this with anybody who you think may benefit. We're always learning and every day's a school day. And if you'd love more tips to arrive directly into your inbox, then pop over to the website, thepeoplenavigator.com, and subscribe. See you next time.